In 1942, the German planned to occupy oil fields in the Caucasus. Operation Schamil. As the Wehrmacht advanced eastward in 1942, it was feared that the Soviets would destroy their oil refineries. Operation Schamil set out to prevent this happening. A year into their Russian adventure, the Germans were making progress, though slower than expected. So spirited had been the Red Army's rearguard action, and so vast the arena across which they had to fight. The strategic plan for 1942's summer campaign was given the codename Case Blue. In prosecuting the war against the Soviets, its aims, in the words of Hitler's Führer Directive No. 41, were to cut them off as far as is possible from their most important centers of war industry. Caucasian Crux. For Army Group A in the south, under the command of General Field Marshal Wilhelm List, this meant occupying the strategically vital oil fields of the Caucasus. First, however, it meant finding a long and extremely arduous way across the southern plains of the Ukraine, and on through the thick forests and the rugged mountains of the Caucasus itself. Hitler, slow to appreciate how difficult a theatre of war this was to perform in, was rapidly running out of patience with List. The Germans had no fears at this point that the tide might turn against them, but it was already clear that they had lost the initiative to some extent, especially down here in the south, where it was becoming clear that, even by Soviet standards, the infrastructure was going to be woefully inadequate. The roads and railways few, far between, and in execrable condition. It was one thing to carry it all before them, as they had to till now, another to be doing so at the snail's pace it seemed they could soon expect to be making. Only now were the Germans beginning to grasp the implications of what their own maps told them. The landscape in the Caucasus was at best bone-shakingly rugged, pockmarked with jagged peaks. It was lacerated by sharp escarpments and plunging ravines. Supposedly spearheading the advance, the 1st Panzer Army would, in fact, hold everyone else back as it inched along an undignified crawl. Preemptive strike. No one was in any doubt that List and his army would win through and take the cities of Maikop, Grozny, and Baku. But what would be left of their vital oil installations when they got there? The Soviets would obviously destroy them rather than allow them to fall into German hands, and at this rate, they were going to have ample time. This was clearly going to be a job for the Lehr Regiment at Brandenburg, a ZBV 800, formed 2 years before specifically to carry out commando-style operations. Carried in by air, they would be dropped onto the essential sites by parachute, securing them before they could be destroyed. In the event, the operation wasn't needed. Maikop, well to the west of Adyginia, and lying in the gentler northern foothills of the Caucasus, was taken easily enough in Army Group A's advance. As for Grozny and Baku, it quickly became clear that the Germans weren't going to get near them. The Caucasian mountains proved as formidable a barrier as had been feared. The advance stalled, and General Field Marshal List was sacked.